Hi everyone and welcome back to OC Avery. Now in today's video we're going to be selecting the greenfinches for the show season. We've got the normal to look through and we're going to look at a couple of mutations as well. Although they won't be going to the shows, they're going to be something we're going to look at today. And then we're going to look at a few of the other things that we'll be taking to the shows, such as the native bullfinches, and we'll choose one of those to take, the better of them. So we've got 4 classes to hit today, and I'm going to use the Lincolnshire British Bird and Hybrid Club show schedule again, just to show you the classes for the greenfinches and what classes we can hit. Probably going to be choosing about 8 or 9 greenfinches today, and we're going to separate them out and I'll show you all through that and talk you through why I'm choosing each bird. So we're going to begin with the current year greenfinch cocks. Now I'm going to read from the British Bird Council Members Handbook with the Exhibition Standards for British Birds, the greenfinch section. The size has to be as large as possible. The type has to be broad, well-rounded head, good rise, well cushioned at the front, set on and full neck and nicely rounded, really short, thick set body, has strong appearance, set well across the perch. The cocks have to be a rich bright grass green throughout the body, wings and tail with slight greyish outer waving to show rich yellow markings. The hens have to be rich brownish and olive hues, yellows in the wings, the tail not so extensive. The faults can be colour impurities, too much grey, dark appearance, eye defects, deformities, pear shapes, overweight on the chest and vent, causing bad posture, poor presentation, insufficiently trained, things like that. And then it's a total of 100 points through size, type, colour, feather and steadiness. So the Lancashire British Bird Mule Hybrid Club have got the class for current year greenfinch cock. Now we've got 6 birds here in the class for myself. It's the biggest class you're going to see today. So they're all looking strong birds apart from the bird in the left hand corner. Now you might be thinking that's a hen. I've compared it to its nest mate, who is a definite hen, and everything about this bird looks cock bird other than the colour. Now if it is a hen, it's a good hen, and if it's a cock, it's a bad cock. That's the point. So I'm going to remove this bird from the setting, whether it is or isn't. It looks like hen on the top, but looks like a cock from the chest and what have you. I'm not sure, so I'm going to have to take another look at this bird. So that leaves us with 5. Now the 5 that they're putting on some good competition for each other. I'm going to be choosing 3 of these 5 because I'm going to be taking 4 cocks and 4 hens, 1 cock being an over-year flighted bird, which we're going to take a look at next. So it's a difficult one, to be honest with you, because they're all strong looking birds, they're all good looking birds. Now I think the left hand upper corner bird will be one going up, so I'm just going to put that there and move this one down, and we'll just put that to the corner for the moment, and we'll slide these across. Now I would say that something about this bird, it's nowhere near as big and as bulky compared to the other cock birds, so that will probably have to stay there at the end of the class. I'll probably move that one down, just as I think it's a bit too, it's not as big as it could do with being. So we'll have a look then at these 4. Again, it's a difficult one. So I would say probably the bird on the very left is a solid looking bird. The colour's good, the shape's good, and the size is good, and I do think it's a nice looking bird. So I'm going to move that one to the front. As you can see, it isn't easy when you've got a bigger class than with the size of the bench. So that's at the front. The bird on the top here, if I just move it to centre for you, it's not working the perches as well. It's not as big, and the colour's just, I don't think it's quite there compared to at least this cock bird. Now we'll move that just down this end, and we'll just have a look at these 3 here, which I think are our contenders. Each is a big bird, good shape. I am you know, happy with them. I think the colour on that bird there in particular is solid. That's not bad, and that's good. So I think they're going to be the 3 for the shows this year for myself in the current year cock class. So I'm going to go and put those guys in the shed into their own separate cages. This is the next bird we're going to look at. It's one in class, so it will be going to the shows, and that's a normal flighted, so an open year cock bird. This is the one I brought in from the Everton hunting line at the beginning of this year, and this is the father to the cockbirds you've just seen, the unflighted cockbirds, and it's going to be, it's the father to some of the current year normal hens we're going to be looking at today as well. It's a nice looking bird. It's a solid colour. I'd say it's probably a yellow bird, this, to be honest. I do struggle to tell with the green finches. There are obvious buffs, there are obvious yellows, and then there's those which are a bit in between. Could be an intermediate, I'm not sure, but it's a nice looking bird. So this is going to be the flighted normal cock bird for the shows. This is the next class, and this is our current year hens, current year normal hens. These are the daughters of the cockbirds you just saw, and this is the 4, we've had 4 hens for us this year, and 5 cockbirds. We did have a few more, sadly a few did pass to the moult of the last round. So what changes for these is that rather than the cocks obviously being rich, bright next green down the body and stuff, the hens are to be rich brownish and olive hues yellow in the wings and tail, not so extensive. So we're looking to probably take 2 current year hens and 2 flighted hens, giving us 8 greenfinches to the shows in total. So I would say that the hens aren't as good quality as the cockbirds as their brothers, but you know they're not bad birds by any means. So the 3 to the left are actually these are first round, and the bird on the right is last round, so 3rd round. Now, I'd definitely say that this last round hen, she's not even filled out, and she's younger. She's got some good markings. The frills, which are where the breast extends round over to their the wings at the shoulders is looking good. So I would say that's going to make the show team, even though it's younger and probably not even filled out as much. It's a good looking bird, I think, with a bit of extra weight on it, and when it matures a bit more, I think that'll make a good bird. For the other 3, as you can see, the shape just isn't quite there, which is a shame, to be honest, especially when you look at the brothers. So I don't think there's much between the hens. I would say that this one isn't as good. It's not showing the wing bar, so that's not on the show team. Between these 2, it's a tough decision. I'd say this one's got better colour overall, this hen. This one's not as good a colour. It's difficult, so I think I'm going to have to take a punt, to be fair, on this. I'm going to go with my gut, and if you've got a different thought on as to why one is better than the other, please just comment below, and I'll be more than happy to look through it, and maybe we'll change the idea. But I'm going to go for this. I think the feather quality looks better, and I think that's probably the better bird to go for. So for our current year greeny hens, for the normals, these are our 2. This is the next and actually the final class of birds we're going to be looking at for the show team. We've got the mutations to look at next. So this is our flighted normal hen class. We've actually got the mother to the previous bird we've seen, which is this bird here with the yellow ring, and we've actually got her 3 daughters of last year, which are these 3. They're very sort of similar in quality to their mother, and they are, well, at least probably 2 of the 4 will be staying on for next year to go to some of the cockbirds, and I've got a few plans, and things in the works for trying to source some better quality hens to be put into our really good quality cockbirds. So looking at this class, it's going to be 2 birds again to get us 2 in the flighted normal hen class. Immediately I would say that this bird is too small, not as big as its sisters, and not worth, not really is worth taking. So that's that bird's going to be eliminated just on that basis. Now it's a tough one between these 3 because I think they're all very similar in quality. This is a yellow hen all day long. I'd say the mother's a buff, and the other is I'd say it's an intermediate or a buff again. So I'm thinking a yellow and a buff. So this bird will be going. It's got that good shape. The colour, it's got a rich brown on the back and an olivey colour on the front. So I think that's a nice bird which I'd like to be taking. So I'm going to move that to the front of the class as a definite. And it's then between these 2 which I'd say are buffs. If we can get the mother just up onto the perches, she is a bigger bird. She's more cobby typey. Size is a bit better. So I think it will be this one and this one, and therefore eliminating this. This is a nice bird. It's all right. Maybe stays on for next year. Not as good as these 2 though. So that's our flighted hen class. For the normal greenfinches, I'd say we've got a yellow and a buff there. Just something worth mentioning with the flighted hens, it's been brought up to me by a few champion breeders of the greenfinches, is that flighted hen greenfinches they'll put on the weight no problem, but trying to get it off them and get them into breeding condition is not as easy as it would be with young hens or even cockbirds. So if you are going to be putting weight on your flighted greenie hens like I'll be doing, make sure you do monitor it and make sure you don't overdo it, because if you're trying to get them fit in from February or what, and you've got loads of weight on them for those last shows, you might really struggle and you might not have a breeding season with them. So just take that into account when you are feeding them up, to give them that extra fat, give them that extra weight for the shows. You don't overdo it. So this is the last class of greenies we're going to look at today, and that's colour variance. From right to left, we've got an agate greenfinch hen we bred this year. We've got a pied greenfinch cock we bred, we got in last year. We've got a pied greenfinch cock we bred last year, and a pied greenfinch hen on the very left, which we bred this year. Now, as you can see, there's real difference in the variegation of the pieds. We've got the bird second from the right, which is very nearly clear. It's just got a bit of the greeny grey on the head and around the back of the neck. We've got the bird which is second from the left, which is about 50-50, and we've got a bird on the very right, on the very left, that's got a few pied markings, a few pied flights, a pied tail feather, and not much. And that's just that just shows the variation. Now, something to point out with these birds is with them being mutations, I've not got interest in showing them, because they're just not as big as they would be or should be ideally for the shows. And just to prove that to you, we've got the best normal cockbird here to give you a bit of an idea of size difference, and as you can see, there is quite a difference. We'll just put him like this, and we'll put him next to that pied, both greenfinches, but as you can see, the size difference it is quite immense. Now, I'd say the agate on the right, it's difficult to tell buffs, at least I've found for myself, especially in the silvers. I'd say it's a yellow, but you might disagree. We've got the next pied, which is, I'd say, an intermediate. We've got that pied, which is a buff, and we've got that pied, which is also a buff. So that's our mutation greenfinches, none of which will be going to the shows. I will be keeping this bird because I would like to put it to a nice normal hen, which is, you know, the brother to the normal, the good normals, so that we could possibly increase size. my overall focus is going to be on the normals next year. I might keep him, yeah, I will keep him back. We'll put him in a spare flight, and I'll probably run him over, you know, a good normal hen for a round or two, just to try and get a few pies out of him. For the rest of them, I'm going to be making up a pair to move on for those two, and same for the agate hen. She's just, yeah, I've just not got the interest in keeping at least the agates and those pies. I'd rather focus on the size of my normals, and maybe we'll try it with this pied cock bird. So that's my mutation greenfinches. These are the last two birds we're going to be looking at today for the shows. I've got a few more that may be coming, but I'll talk to you about that in a second. But these are the two native bullfinch cock birds. Now, the size has to be as large as possible within the natural limits, so obviously smaller than the Siberians. The type broad, full, well-rounded head with a good rise set on full neck, well-rounded, short, thickish body, a strong upstanding appearance. The cocks have to be broad, clean cut, glossy, black cap extending back to the back of the skull, well-defined, clean cut, facial beard, light, even slate blue, glossy black wings and tail, well-defined slate markings, British, bright, rich, even crimson colour through the body, clear white vent and rump. So these are the two birds which we've got to assess. You can probably tell which bird I'm already going to be able to choose just by how they're acting in the showcase. That's a bird on the right, because the bird on the left has yet to move from that perch. I'll just try and move him now, and he still won't move. And he still won't move, and I've got my finger in the cage. Oh, there we are, he's finally moving. So that's the native bullies, and I think the bird on the right, the feathers are better. The shape and size is good. You know, both of them are good, and I do think the bird on the left's not as comfortable in show cage. He's not really been in one before, to be honest, so I don't want to knock him too much for that, because he's still a very nice, good bird. They're both buff birds, I believe. You know, they've not got that rich red crimson colour come through. They've more got a pale red / orange, but that's fine. They are buff birds, so that's absolutely fine. So we're going to be taking the bird on the right to the shows for the native bullfinch, current year native bullfinch cock class. For the bird on the left, well, we're going to make sure he's all right in a show cage, because he's just not shown himself correctly yet. And then we will be doing a swap with a friend with that bird, just to bring some new blood into both our native bullfinches. I'd need at least one new blood bullfinch cock in if we do decide to try and breed any straight native bullies, and if not, then we won't be able to breed them. So it just works as well both out. So that's the native bullfinches. And there you have it. That's the greenfinches sorted for this year, and the native bullfinch cocks. Now, you might be wondering, what about other birds? What else will I be taking? So the native bully hens, I will be probably taking one per show. I don't want to take all three, because I don't think there's much difference in any of them. So I just thought I'll probably do, if I do 3 or 4 shows this year, it depends how many British are on, then I'll take one per show, and we'll just see how each of them does. And fingers crossed they do all right. So that'll be a native bully hen each show. And the reason I'm not showing you those guys right now on camera is because they have met their partners for next year in the mules and hybrids section, which will be next week's video. So make sure you tune in for that, and you subscribed if you're not already, so you don't miss that. We're going to be looking at the mule and hybrids I will be doing for next year. The other birds, well, we might be taking the crossbill cock. I'm unsure yet. He didn't molt out as well in colour, so yeah, I'm debating the idea of whether we're going to be doing that. My first show will be, as I've said earlier, the Lancashire British Bird and Hybrid Club show, which is on the 21st November. So now that we've got the other greenies sorted, they're in the sheds, well, they're in their cages, separate cages, they should be all good. We'll put some weight on them and condition them, prepare them further, as we spoke about in a previous video, of how we're going to be doing that for the show season this year, putting weight on them and stuff. So make sure you check that out. The link will be up here somewhere, so you can see a bit more about the care and diet that I'll be doing for those birds. Something I would like to mention as well, it was my birthday the other day, and I thought, well, I'm going to treat myself, so I I went on Direct Bird Products and I've bought some show cage carry cases. Now these are fantastic. The mediums have sold out. I think there might be a few large left. The link will be in the description to these if you are interested in them. I know Shane's got a few left, I believe. So yeah, but these are fantastic. I've got 5 number 3s in this one. This is a medium, and there's larges which I think you can fit 6 number 3s and 7 2s. I've got 7 2s in one. So all good like that. I just thought it'd be worth me showing you, and just something to mention as well with those cock greenies. As you've seen, I'd literally just pulled them out the flights today. We've had them in show cages previously and they've looked good, but that's the only time they've ever been in a cage that size. And as you can see here, they're acting like they've never even been in a flight. They're so steady, you know, the steadiness is not trained into these birds, it's bred into them, and it's fantastic. And I'm really pleased to see that, because immediately when you put them in a show cage, it's like they know what to do. Put them in a cage in there to separate them out, and they're getting on just fine. Nothing like you might get with some birds where the steadiness is not bred into them and they're going a bit crazy in the cage because they prefer it out in a flight. So just thought it'd be worth a mention there. Lovely looking birds, and I'm really pleased with them. So hopefully, fingers crossed, all going well at the shows this year. You'll see them every time they go to a show. I'll do a video from there, and hopefully if you are at the show, I would recommend you go. You know, especially if you're starting out keeping the birds, the best place to go is the shows to learn stuff about the birds and meet people. So definitely recommend it. If you can steward at the shows, I would always recommend asking and offering that help, because I know the shows are struggling this year. A lot of cage bird societies are struggling and need those volunteers. I'll be trying to do my part and stewarding at some of the shows that I can. So if you can steward at the shows, then I'd highly recommend that you do. Not only will you learn a lot from having a chat with the judges as they're judging the birds, I've always found that's great. You're learning about the birds, you're seeing an awful lot of different examples, and hopefully you can pick out yourself which are the better examples of the birds, and that'll train your eye better for your birds when you're examining them at home. But also you're doing a really good thing in helping local cage bird societies out, bigger clubs, and it is very much appreciated, I'm sure, by a lot of the societies and the people who run it. So if you can do it, I do recommend it. Now that does bring us to the end of this week's video. So like I said, next week we'll be looking at the mules and hybrid pairs for next year. We've got 5 pairs sorted. The bullfinch hens are doing that, and we've got another pair of something else in for the mules and hybrids. So hopefully you'll enjoy that video, and it will be out next Saturday. So anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed the video and you want to see more, subscribe down below and like. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.